Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brillman. I'm joined here by Solari, and this is Team Misfits against VITB LFL 2021.
Indeed. Hello, Solari here. Very happy to be here yet again. What do we have today? Misfits Premier, who are still the king of the everything basically. They go 5-1. They just lost a game, but this one single loss wasn't able to overthrow them completely. Today they're playing against Vitality B, and that's a really important game for this team because they're currently on the 6th place. They're going 3-3, 3 wins, 3 losses, and they really need to take that win for them somehow. I would say that's a perfect chance for them because Misfits just lost a game. They might be a little bit in not the best mood after that. Maybe this time Vitality B will be able to take that win into their hands. Will they? We'll see.
That is complete true. Don't forget that this tournament is running on a double Robin basis. That means that every opponent has to meet each other twice, and we are closely approaching the point where everybody is starting. Basically, that already almost happened. Basically, let me put it this way: we are more than halfway through, and Vitality B just really need to try and fish for an opportunity to get there and to try to secure themselves in the 5th place, because only 5 teams are going to qualify to the playoffs and only 1 team is going to EU Masters. But that doesn't matter right now as we are going into the bands, and I love the Uda band.
Yes, I just love the bands coming from Misfits Premier this time. Look at that Talian especially. Look at that, oh dear.
I just see Aggressivo going, nope.
No. You're not taking it. No, Schlaran. No. Sit down.
No. Put it.
Oh.
Bad jungler. And Gray is just getting. Well, that's a very interesting way of a double punishment for Schlaran right now.
Yeah.
With a little bit of a backfire too, and Seraphine is going to the ban as well. Not exactly a big surprise here, as she is quite a strong champion.
Especially these days, especially in 11.2. She is feeling great. But let's see what's going to be picked. I am really looking forward to Schlaran's pick. I'm expecting Nidalee for the jungle, to be fair, because that's kind of the only option open for him right now.
I mean, he can always go cheesy again, that he did in the previous game.
Don't think
you don't really want
like
that, but you know, if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, we are not the ones to stop you, Schlaran. Do whatever you want.
No, and and you have Olaf there in pretty much one of the most popular picks right now, because Olaf is just Olaf. This time Misfits trying to go around with their top lane in the 1st place, which is actually, from my point of view, that is actually a very good idea, because they have spared themselves of taking that top lane in the beginning of the previous game, in the draft of the previous game. And Aggressivo was playing on Gnar, which was alright, but it felt very poorly for him. They're still going to pick Kai'Sa as well. That means we have 2 very, very safe picks and champions for Misfits right now.
Yeah. That's still a question what they're going to pick for the jungle, what they're going to pick to be able to over-sustain that Olaf, which was taken for Vitality B. That's a big question for me, to be fair. That's something I'm really looking forward to, but I feel pretty okay about the bot lane right now, because Woolite, even though he didn't feel exactly good in the last game with his Kai'Sa, he made quite a few mistakes. He is still good with this champion.
Oh. That is a Gragas. The last time we've seen a Gragas, it was a support, and it was brutal.
It was brutal. It was brutal for Misfits, actually. They had it hard with the enemy Gragas.
They had some very hard time with that Gragas support. I don't exactly remember who was the one. And Zoe getting picked up. Mincertus is left without one of his favorite picks. Probably going to go with
Orianna.
Syndra. Or Orianna.
We'll see.
Syndra is always a good option as well.
Orianna is a good option against Zoe. And we have seen that whenever Sertus wants to go for Zoe, he prefers to have Orianna banned, just because he doesn't want to be faced with that, what in his opinion can be counterpick.
Her shockwave is quite a unpleasant ultimate. They decide not to go with it neatly. A safe pick for Schlaran, but not exactly the best pick against Olaf, I think. Because Olaf is a little bit of a more bruiser-ish, fighting-ish champion. We've seen Xayah being banned from Misfits as well. That is actually a very good call, because we have seen that Xayah was an extreme big problem for Team Misfits, as they were able to just punch through Jack Troll in the previous game.
They were. I think Schlatten will try to play a little bit safer this time, just because Needle is not exactly the champion he wants to go into, to invade the enemy jungler with, especially with enemy jungler looking like that. That's Syndra being banned, actually. That's one of the picks you suggested, to be taking all the mid lane against Zoe. Not an option anymore, so I'm pretty sure, unless we see an Orianna ban, that's going to be the pick for Misfits Premier for the mid lane. And I'm also thinking that's Vayne. Okay, going really safe.
That is actually that's actually a very good option, because considering if you want to go with some Orianna is getting banned too, that leaves Certus with a very limited amount of options. But just getting back to that, Vayne is extremely powerful against tanks, even especially in 11 points. In 11.1, 2, and 3, basically, because the combination of Kraken Slayer and the Ginsu's Blade is just. It's a brutal combo. And ooh, Victor.
That's a very good pick, actually. I expected something like Kassadin, which maybe not the best pick against Zoe.
No, that is not Russian LPL. That is not No Man's. Okay, that is not that.
Okay. I'm sorry. I take my words back. That's Ashe. We haven't seen Ashe, I think. Oh, we've seen her once.
I think did.
Maybe, but that's a very rare pick these days.
It's a rare pick.
I like this pick. She's going to have a lot of poke on the lane. That's going to be really good for VITB.
I see Leona being an open opportunity for both of the teams, and I'm really interested who's going to go with that pick, because we've seen Jack Troll to do some miracles with Leona, and especially with the Solar Flare.
Yeah.
So
that's
they're going to take Alistar. Leona is the best option here.
Leona or Rel could be also. They need some really good chunky tankiness for them. There is Renekton, but okay, that's Leona. I like it.
I'm not surprised, honestly speaking, because thinking about it, we know how deadly Jack Troll can be on that champion. We know how well he can manage his resources while being on that champion, especially in a team up with that Kai'Sa. And thinking about it, there is no better way to go into that fight, knowing that you have at least two quite tanky, also going with 2 cleansers though.
Oh, that's going very safe. But well, there is Ashe, there is the slip from Zoe. I mean, it's very understandable. It's going very, very safe. But
also the knockup. But you can't be safe from the knockup.
No.
You can save Beaver from the stun that Alistar can provide with his E. That is true.
Yeah, but I would say it's probably to be saved against these 2 ladies on the ADC and on the mid lane positions. Really.
You really want to save yourself from the ladies, that is true.
Yeah, especially against Zoe. We have seen that the sleep is something that can go very far and can do so much damage in just seconds, especially if there is a Q coming right after it. You're pretty much dead afterwards.
I absolutely agree, that seems to be like a very interesting pick over here right now, because I have a feeling that Team Misfits are feeling a little bit more
pressured.
I can't say pressured, but less confident, absolutely, and probably more cautious this time.
Yes, that's true.
Because we see Vitality Bees just trying to outplay and trying to produce some very interesting combinations, and they do that quite well, quite effective. But in the same moment, I can just see Misfits going, do not provoke it, do not press it, don't do stupid things. Just let it go safely, slowly, methodically.
No picks this time, please.
Yeah, Schlatten, just go away. You're no longer a part of this team. Just go, please. If you're going to pick Udyr, you're going to play in I don't even know what. You're going to play CS.
No, don't punish him that far. Come on, that's unfair. But I love the pick of Leona, because actually this is the only thing that I have been a little bit lacking in the pick of Misfits Premier here. Some really good, really reliable crowd control. And that's exactly what Leona is bringing to that team. With his ultimate, with this small cooldown on her ultimate, that's going to be perfect for them. Especially perfect if there is an ultimate coming from Leona, followed up by the invasion from Renekton. That's going to be just probably an easy win for them. But we'll see, because the game is starting right now. Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift, everybody. Indeed, I I have to agree with you on most of the points, but I just want to. I'm just thinking about Vitality B must have studied their opponents, and they know that if they go for Woolite, this is going to be a problem for them. Ooh, we have a pulse.
We have a pause. That's a very early pause. What happened? Who is cheating this time so early? It's like 1 minute in the game.
Stop cheating, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm going to jump straight back to my point
Yep.
because now we have an opportunity to do that, and we know that one of the solemn tactics that Team Misfits do have is Woolite. You go farm, you go build yourself up, and then you just go annihilate everybody.
Yep.
And if Team Vitality B are going to be smart enough about it and just eliminate, finally back into the game, thank you very much, we'll be able to eliminate Woolite from the game. This is going to be quite a big win for them.
This is how we saw the previous game being won actually against Misfits Premier. You just annihilate Woolite as early as possible. You try to deny Aggressio his aggression as much as possible, and you're pretty much won. Also, there is a threat from Schlaran always, but since he wasn't exactly on his best champion last game, he wasn't so much of a big threat. So that's...
Woolite wasn't with Leona though.
Yeah, he was with Alistair though. He feels pretty comfortable on him, but I would say that in the current position of everything, Leona is a much more reliable pick. And personally, for Jack Troll, that's a better pick for him because he feels much more confident on her and on Rel because they're pretty much similar.
And I'm just thinking about the amount of opportunities that Leona provides you, even while standing on the lane, that we know that the amount of tankiness that she's able to provide against basically any champion because of her W, and the solar flare that Jack Troll is able to land almost perfectly. Because from one of the games one of the early games, we see some early aggression going on here. Woolite already on some small HP right now is gonna have to go back as even Ignite being burnt on Smiley, and that's the moment where you don't get the heal on the bot lane. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. But Smiley doesn't have a heal as well.
He also has a cleanse actually, I just noticed it. That's going to save him probably at least from one of the ultimates coming from Jack Troll.
That it might be. I am confused with words. A jungle of words.
No, actually, actually I'm thinking about it right now. Usually whenever Jack Troll uses the ultimate, he follows it with the E immediately. So there is almost no way you can escape it.
Maybe that is an idea of trying to suppress the early game aggression, because Jack Troll would be able to just if he lands good E and W, that's going to be most likely a precise kill for them.
The beauty... Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Okay, the beauty of Leona is that you cannot escape her with just one cleanse with you after she hits level 6. You need to have 2 cleanses, or your support needs to build something for you to get this beautiful cleanse, because otherwise, if Leona decides to all-in you, you just cannot run away.
That is true. And also, I really like the pick of Ashe into Misfits, because with the Hawk shot, they will be able to know whereabouts of Shatson almost every single time. As here, Memento, Jack Troll in a very bad position, but Woolite also has to go back as fast as possible. Defensive flash and aggressive flash from Memento. Cleanse is being used even, but Memento is way too deep, but he's going to secure the first bar by that axe throw, and Jack Troll is being actually sieged with 4 members of Team Vitality B as the rest of the Misfits are able to join the fray right now. It looks like they're still going to try and dive him, but he decides to move in first as Hustlin takes the kill, but Memento is still not going to survive, because Certus is here to pick up a kill. A defensive flash coming from Hustlin as he's going to be able to get away, but probably not, as he's getting chased. That's a javelin throw right on the target, popped in a blink of an eye, as that is a 2-2 exchange for both of the teams.
2-2 exchange, that's not too bad actually. That's a very good follow-up from Misfits Premier this time. Yes, they had to sacrifice that first blood on their precious Woolite, but they managed to turn it, and that's now not all too bad exchange for them.
I have to be honest that you can see Woolite is getting more and more nervous, because of the position he was put in the previous game. And I think Misfits are really pretty much counting with the fact that in the meantime we have some action right now as the replay goes. But here at the bottom left of the screen, the teleport is even burned right now. There's going to be a very big team fight. I hope we can see what is happening, and we do, as that is a sleep on Leona, which means there's going to be some kind of a follow-up. There is a lot of knockups going on Jacktroll, but as manages to still be alive as both supports for both the teams are going down, and it looks like there is not going to be any kind of a continuous of a fight as both teams are very aggressive.
Yes, that's the only way, as practice shows, that you can win against Misfits Premier, by being aggressive from as early as possible, first of all, and secondly, by focusing Bullite. That's exactly what VITB are doing right now, and I actually have high hopes for this team for maybe, again, giving Misfits Premier the loss. They might not be deserving, they might be, we will see, depends on how they play this game.
And I also have to point out that just right before this gank on the bot lane happened, I was speaking about the Hawkshot that provides the amount of knowledge for the team whereabouts of the enemy jungler, and that is exactly the reason why they had an opportunity to go in there like that, because Ashe using her Hawkshot to look at both sides of the enemy jungle, they know that Schlatten is very, very much not able to somehow answer for that gank, and they go for it, and it works. They do manage to pick up that first blood.
Yes, and that's the beauty of picking Ashe. Look, right here, again, just confirming your words. There is the Hawkshot going and checking where the enemy jungler is, not seen there.
And right now, they know that Schlatten is somewhere around here, and they're not probably going to be very aggressive, as Memento manages actually to go into a very, very long gank right now, but Aggressivo is feeling something. His spider senses might be tingling, might not be tingling. His ultimate coming from Gragas. That is a cask not doing anything, as a defensive flash being popped by Aggressivo, and he manages to escape. But it seems like Misfits are going to try and fight for that dragon. Yes, they do. Javelin and throw from Schlatten, as that is a beginning of a fight, as my pen falls down.
That's unfortunate, but that happens. But in the meantime, Misfits Premier are taking that first dragon, and look at them. They usually don't go for objectives early in the game. They prefer to leave it to the enemy team and try to instead take as many kills and towers as possible. Now they know that might not always be working. You need sometimes to change the strategies. You need to teach the old dog a new trick, and they go for that early dragon, and that's a lot of damage coming from Certus actually on that poor Zoe on the mid lane. She needs to back, but kudos to Misfits Premier. Congratulations with this first Drake. Let's see where it takes you.
That might be one of the first time that we actually see Misfits taking that first Drake. Not exactly sure right now. Might be speculating, but still.
Might be. We would need to check. I honestly think it's the first one, but let's see, because there is a little switch right now between the top and the bot, because Woolite is on the top lane trying to do something with Raven, and that's, look at that.
Misfits are going for that early object,
yes.
And that is, I like this switch of the tactics. I like it. Because right now they decide to not leave the opposite team any kind of opportunity to do anything about it, as they just go and take those objects without being contested, and they know then they can do that, and VITB are not able to react on it so fast-pacedly, and we know that Misfits are able to play very fast and very vague into those games.
Yes, and I love the lack of hesitation this time when they decided to take the second objective right after they managed to successfully secure the first one. There was absolutely no fight given to them by VITB. They decided this time to leave these objects to the good use of Misfits Premier, and you can be sure they will make sure that the use of those objects is very good, especially this Herald, where it's gonna be popped. What do you think?
I am pretty sure it's going to be popped on the bot lane. I am almost 100% sure. Either bot lane or maybe actually mid lane, because we have seen Certus to do a lot of damage on that Zoe, and oh, that is asleep on him. Might result in something bad, might not actually. Well, no, only just a few trades from both of the teams, but well, Jacktroll is very, very deep into the enemy jungle. Same goes Schlatten, as they maybe try to fish for somebody, but no, just Vision getting popped in there, and that is actually some very good deep wards.
Yeah,
from Team Misfits.
I love deep words. More deep words everywhere, please. And that's going to be a third plate for Woolite. What do we say about third plates and Woolite? You don't give them to Woolite.
You say
never.
yes, and that is a Herald being
Indeed.
popped in the bot lane, just as I thought. Javelin throw not going to find anybody, and seems like Vitality B I won't be able to do anything about it, as the tower on the bot lane is about to go down. Just one more auto attack, but no, it still stands. And here comes Olaf, probably going to start and join the fray, maybe, as he's going unnoticed here on the wall. Spectators, please let us go back to the bot lane. I'm interested in what is about to happen, because Zoe is also coming there. Are we going to have a bit of a fight? No, we don't.
Not anymore. That was a good try, though, and I'm really unhappy about that tower. Woolite just needed to give one more auto attack, he decided not to. I think they thought that the Herald would do all the job for them. You need to help the poor thing. Come on, that doesn't work.
Still,
like
the
that.
amounts of money going to Woolite, I'm sorry, right now. It's amazing.
Yep.
That he's going to be really far ahead in front of that Ashe, and you can see that taking those early objects have paid off to Team Misfits quite incredibly, as we see a 1k, 1.5 almost k difference between the teams, and that is very good for Misfits.
Yeah, it's very good. Even though the kill score is the same for both teams, Misfits Premier are ahead, and that's good for them, because that's going to be a very early Kraken Slayer for Kai'Sa, which is exactly what you want to see on Kai'Sa. And that's going to be some action here right now. Look at that, 3 members of Misfits Premier trying to take the poor tower.
Yeah, the tower is still standing. Look at 57 HP. Oh my god, that must hurt. But it seems like Vitality B are going to try to pick up a fight for that tower. As Schlatten finds a very good position here to try. Oh no, gets himself out of the bushes. That means no sneaky tricky on you.
Finally.
As they just going to
Yes!
take it. Solar Flare going on Smiley, uses Cleanse in order to get away, but enhanced Crystal Arrow going as Jackcho needs to immediately defensive flash away, but that is an immediate aggressive flash for Arslan, as even Teleport coming from aggressive, as he's now fully in the backline of the enemy team, but it's not going to do anything, as he's going to get popped. Woolite also has to use both of these summoner spells very defensively in order to get away, as this is an absolutely lost fight for Team Misfits.
That is actually very sad to see, honestly. I loved the try of Aggressivo to just go and flank the enemy team, but it seems like it doesn't have enough damage yet, and it seems like that Vitality B have too much control to just stop him and say, no, Aggressivo, no, you are being too aggressive, stop right there.
I mean, I don't really understand what have happened here, honestly, because that was a very good solar flare from Jackcho as he tried to initiate, but the moment that they try to disengage, we see a teleport being burned, and Gragas also joining the fray, and in the very same moment, a teleport from Renekton is also being popped, and right here we just see Aggressivo being basically stuck in there, as even a cask coming from Gragas is controlling him to death, basically, and Misfits didn't really have an opportunity to play that fight very well. Woolite has to use his killer instinct here. Probably going to be some kind of a fight. Jackcho in a little bit of a problem. No?
Not really. No. They managed to escape. It's okay. It's fine for them, and they actually managed to pick up the
Ooh, and that's
second
a
red for
hex
them.
stack flash.
Ooh.
No, they're not going to go and fish for
No.
Woolite, but look at Smiley. He's finally he's putting a smile on his face and farming himself into the victory.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. That's a very good strategy from him. And actually, I must say that I can tell you probably what happens back there on the bot lane, unless we have some action here happening. It might be, might not. Let me try. So there was a good trial of engagement from Jack Troll. That ultimate, I loved it. Oh, look at that. Someone is caught in the...
Ooh.
Oh, no.
But popcorn is a
Manages
popcorn
to
and manages to get away.
Pop and Yukon. But unfortunately, there was no follow-up after the good ultimate from Jack Troll. And that opened a good opportunity
Ooh,
for
and that
Vitality
is
to be-
another
Oh!
crystal arrow going, but not missing the target, as Ragnarok has to be popped in order not to be stunned by Jack Troll, but not going to be enough, as Woolite has to go down. Same goes Jack Troll, not able to live, as an axe throw is getting him. Certus being popped in our screen, probably by Gragas' explosive cask. That is true, and Team Vitality B are establishing control over the top lane with extreme confidence here.
Is it just me, or is it really that the pick of Olaf in the draft is getting you a win?
It seems like it, although honestly speaking, I have a feeling that I don't know. Correct me on that one if you feel it differently, but I have a feeling Misfits just kind of they lost a little, like not in the meaning that they lost the game already. Of course they didn't, but it feels like they just feeling lost, going around the map, not really understanding what are they supposed to do, because Vitality B are trying to use some advantages that Misfits are just not prepared for.
I wouldn't agree completely. Misfits Premier are actually doing a good job this time trying to secure those objectives, and they're being a little more meaningful with their wanderings on the map, but they still wander around the map too carelessly. Woodlight almost got caught there in the top side of his own jungle, and we have seen already this happening to him. He has the tendency of going alone through the map when he really shouldn't be doing that. We have another post, by the way. What's happening with our French colleagues? They don't like that Misfits Premier are not in a good position, apparently.
Maybe so, maybe not. But just jumping back on your point, I have to agree with you that it just feels completely different. This game feels completely different, even from the game we've seen the previous time, because Misfits are just not. They're not able to react that successfully to Vitality B roaming the map, being prepared to take on a fight, knowing that they have an opportunity to fight better in the beginning of the game, because Renekton needs time to scale, Kai'Sa needs time to scale, Nidalee is not exactly in the best position in that current meta still, and Victor also needs to scale, and Vitality B know that, and they're going into those fights perfectly understanding and perfectly confident that they can win those fights.
But they cannot. They cannot, unfortunately. They're Gragas, and that Olaf just top them.
Yeah, I mean, the Vitality B are going into those fights. I'm sorry,
Okay.
might have confused
No,
you and the audience here. I'm sorry.
Misfits Premier also try to go into the fights. We could see them trying it really hard back there on the bot lane. Didn't happen. Unfortunately, didn't work out for them, and Vitality B used the opportunity to engage themselves, and that was much more successful.
And look at the goal, by the way. Memento and Smiley, and just being at the top spots there with an immense amount of gold on their hands. Also, that is a Herald ready to be popped, probably going to be popped somewhere around mid lane, I think, rather to say. But we shall see. Yeah, well, at least it feels so.
It feels so, but we shall see. Look at the Gragas just ready next to this mid lane. And yeah, there is a lot of tension actually on the mid lane right now. Let's see what is going to happen. There is Ashe still.
You know what
farming.
is happening? Yes, Ashe is farming, and you didn't want that. You just don't want this to happen.
But at the same time, you know who else is farming? Aggressivo. And he's doing it pretty well. And he will soon be a real threat.
That is true, although I'm not exactly sure how much of a threat he's going to be when the whole team Vitality B will be ready to do something about it. Not able to save the turret, though, as on the last, his dying breath, Herald destroys that turret. Vitality B seem to be very... Oh, teleport coming from Aggressivo. That is interesting, as Smiley in a bad position right here. Dominus being propped as Smiley. He's just getting annihilated by Team Misfits.
I loved it so much. Aggressivo being himself again. Living to his name. Beautiful.
Talk about not being confident. I will eat my words right now, as that was a brilliant way of establishing. They just punched the table with their bare hand and going, we're not done yet.
Frankly, my friend, if I have any hopes for Mrs. Premier here, they're all with that crocodile.
That crocodile, you remember Killer Croc? I think Batman is not going to be happy with facing that one.
Yeah, no.
But I mean, that was brilliant. That was absolutely brilliant. We haven't seen we haven't actually seen Misfits pulling off something like that, and that did really pay the due, as it stopped Ashe from farming that much, and even granted yet another dragon for Team Misfits, as it is a 4-minute away assault for Team Misfits, as Vitality weren't able to contest any of those drakes. And that Inferno Soul is a huge thing. That is a, not exactly missed, but a missed enhanced crystal arrow that is going to stun Schlatten not to do a lot there, though.
Actually, I just noticed, look at what Kaisa is going with. That's not Kraken Slayer anymore.
That is a Gale Force.
That is a Gale Force. That is interesting.
And I'm not exactly sure if I'm supposed to be shouting right now or not, because the tension around the map is so big right now. I mean, look at it. Both teams are just waiting to pull the trigger and begin the massacre, but nobody is going for it. Nobody wills to do that.
There is 9 seconds to Baron spawning actually on the map. That might be an early an early Baron for one of the teams, and that might be a huge difference for whoever manages to get it first. Will anybody try to go for it though? That's something I'm really interested to see.
That any of the team do have exactly the amount of damage to do it quickly enough, because you don't really have that much of resources. Because thinking about it, Vitality B have already built 5 mythic items, so that gets them in a little bit of a lead here. But I'm actually very interested about that Gale Force from Woolite. He is feeling really unconfident in this game, or not unconfident, but uncomfortable. More to say, because that Gale Force is yet another opportunity to not only provide a little bit more damage. That is a crystal arrow missing Certus, just flying not over his head but around his ear.
That was pretty close. Kudos to Certus, he didn't get killed, because if he did, oh my god, that would have been a follow-up from Diplex, I'm pretty sure, with some nice sleep with a Q. Oh, the damage! Sleep.
Oh, even whoa! Certus even getting ignited by somebody or somehow. I think that Zoe had an ignite on her W, and that was very risky for both of the teams.
Actually, I have to point out that none of Team Vitality B have Ignite, but none of them need it because they have Zoe.
That is true, and even though Chaos Storm was popped by Certus, it didn't really do that immense amount of damage to just delete Diplex from the game. Oh, look at this, we have a little bit of a fight for the crab. Aggressor won it. Told you, crocodile is a crocodile. You can't mess around with a crocodile.
Especially in the water. That's not a very smart idea.
And look at the goal difference, actually. That's very interesting.
Yeah, especially between the top laners. But look at the farm difference, though. The crocodile is just ahead of everybody, and that's what to do with Renekton. And I'm pretty sure in just a few minutes, he might just become unstoppable for everybody.
Are we going to see again some fantasy level of a film, you know, a one-man army sort of a thing, like we've seen with that Aatrox? Because I loved it. If you ever wanted to see a film being filmed in the game, that's exactly where you want to go, because the way Aggressive handled himself in that fight was just brilliant.
Yes, it was straightforward, beautiful. I loved it. Look at the item actually that Woolite just collected. That's a collector that he got for himself. I love this combination. He is going to provide some damage.
Yes. And a tower going down.
And a tower going down. That's 2 towers and 2 towers for both teams. They're going pretty on the same level here, and the goal difference is actually almost non-existent.
But it seems like one of the teams are going to pull the trigger right now, as Vitality B are really not interested in giving up that Dragon Soul that is coming in 20 seconds, and they just don't want to give it. Both Crocodile and Gragas is moving. Oh, that is a very long sleep, and is going to be caught by Aggressive, same as the Enhanced Arrow, but we see both teams aggressively going in as Ragnarok being popped. Solar Flare not fighting anybody but Dracho in the very low HP. In the same time, Gragas, Olaf is being caught in the back lane, as Woolite also has to use his killer instinct in order to get away. Aggressivo pick him up the double kill for himself, but he's going to be punished for that with his life, as Schlatten trying to do something with the rest of the team, but getting caught by Smiley, and that Dragon Soul is not going for Team Misfits, as Vitality B win that fight.
That was so close.
You're speechless.
I am, absolutely. I'm just Zoe going golden and then escaping that last pair coming from Nidalee. I was pretty sure that was the end for poor Zoe, but no, I was wrong. That was actually the end for a kitty cat.
I mean, look at the fight. Honestly, that's a very interesting way that both of the teams tried to pick up at least somebody, and we see a lot of control being provided from Raven is with the belly, and especially with the explosive cask. And in the same moment, we see I think it's one of the most important things to understand from this fight right now is that Aggressivo is getting himself in a position where he's going to be able to basically won the V3, the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
And the more Team Vitality be let Aggressivo go into this phase, the worse is going to be for them. Because, Schlatten might be caught here with the belly punch. And Jack Troll going in there. Also using Solar Flare. That is Raven being stunned. Explosive Cask always getting into the fray as Aggressive being caught by Alistair. And seems like both teams are going to disengage. Well, Misfits are going to disengage, to be more precise here, as Vitality are going to take that tower and not being contested for that.
That is very unfortunate for me.
Aggressivo still trying to pick up a fight with Raven. Again, going to withdraw. The tension is just so up. I can feel it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start to I will shake at some moment of this game. I will be just sitting and shaking here because I have a feeling we're going to witness a bloodbath in the very, very this Schlatten being caught here, goes golden in order to survive. Certus already here to try and help his teammate out. He's going to do that, but Duplex is just Duplex here. I am speechless because that is probably going to be a Baron for Team Misfits as they're going to start to teleporters being burned as Gragas is going to join the fray. Is he going to be able to do anything? But the cask, is ready to be popped as Team Vitality are looking to get in there. That's the cask being popped, but not going to find anything. The Solar Flare is doing enough control, and the fighting just continues raging in the Baron pit, and it seems like Smiley is able to do the immense amount of damage. Here comes the crystal arrow, pick him up aggressive, but he still manages to stay alive as Misfits are incredibly low, being chased by Team Vitality B. That is a teleport from Duplex, who's looking for revenge, but he's going to be caught by Aggressivo. Maybe he's going to pay with his life. As Schlatten at the same time is fighting Raven bravely here, but not enough to fight him back as Vitality B turned this game around and going to take that Baron.
Not enough is just the description of what's happening with Misfits Premier right now. They don't have enough damage. They don't have a good enough position at all the times. Even though there at the Baron pit, that looked pretty good. But there is Smiley. There is Smiley from Vitality B. He is feeling so good right now. He's pretty fair. He has his items. He has a lot of farm, much more than Woolite. He has the kills and he has the damage and the control and the vision. He has everything.
To point out, he just bought himself a stopwatch.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful from Woolite. I was speechless at that moment. I literally just had a voice crack on this moment, but I just want to point out fairly quickly that right before we went to that replay, that Ashe has a stopwatch right now, and that's going to be even a bigger problem for Team Misfits. And just look at Alistair here. 4-man knockup. That was brilliant.
That's what you pick this champion for.
I have to be honest, I'm really worried for Team Misfits right now as they're going to be sieged by Vitality B mercifully merciless. I'm sorry, it's not going to be a merciful siege. That's going to be a merciless siege as even the arrow going uses cleanse in order to get away as now Kaiser is not going to have that cleanse in the team fight. 25 seconds for the Inferno Dragon. Schlatten is already there in the bot side of the jungle where the team has no words. Team Vitality B has no words momentarily. He's probably going to try and steal that. We have seen him to do that absolutely beautifully in the previous game. I'm not exactly sure he's going to be able to do it right Now, though, although he has a better champion to do so, and look at the damage, 16k damage from... I'm not going to continue on my thought right now because I am lost here right now. Misfits are going to try to take that dragon. They engage it, and Woolite is not exactly who's causing who right now. Amazing amount of damage coming to that aggressive, and that means he's not going to be able to go into the enemy and prod his dominance that well because he doesn't have enough rage. Raven is getting little bit damaged over here as VITB are taking control over that dragon, probably going to try and burst him down. The solar flare going in the middle of that dragon pit, and that VITB are taking that dragon as the fight raging in the dragon pit. Schlatten not going to get away with his life as Woolite has to use his flash defensively to get away from that Olaf as Team Misfits are slowly taken down by VITB, even though they were able to take a few with them at the grave.
Woolite and Aggressivo this time went straight to Smiley. They just caught him and they didn't let him go to the end. They just ignored everything and everyone else. That was good thing. That was very good play from the two of them, but it's too late to do this. Unfortunately, it's just too late to change the tactics to the good ones, the working ones, because already Team VITB is just
Raven is so tanky right now. He's able to take so much damage into himself. And I mean, look at this fight right now. Even though Schlatten was very close to the dragon and he even flashed himself into it, we see Diplex taking that dragon and just slowly and methodically, Team VITB is just taking down everybody from Team Misfits. And right now, I am considering that Gale Force from Moonlight wasn't exactly the best option because it seems like Misfits are lacking the damage in taking down both Memento, both Raven, and that Alistair as well.
They're lacking the damage that Ashe has. Look at Ashe, that Kraken Slayer, that Infinity Edge that Runan, and
the stopwatch.
Yes, and the stopwatch. And she's not allowing anybody from Misfits Premier to heal. That's something I like to see.
283 CC. That is a problem if I've ever seen one.
That's even more than the Crocodile has now. Oh no, Aggressivo, you lost this fight.
And it seems like they're going to repeatedly lose again. I mean, look at the shutdown potential that Memento and Raven have. It's 300 and 150 gold. That's something you really want to take if you want to try to get yourself back into the game, because that is a 4k difference, not in the favor of Team Misfits.
There is also some shutdown money on the head of Woolite, and that's pretty... that's a lot of money. Yeah. That's a good money that you would want to take.
That is also sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Very sweet. However, Misfits Premier just need to group now. There is no chance that Woolite will be able to walk around the map carelessly like he usually does.
As Smiley can, basically.
Yes, Smiley can allow. He can afford to just wander around. Woolite, not anymore. And he hasn't been able to for quite a long time actually now, but he still has been doing it. It's a big mistake from him that we see over and over and over again.
And just think about it, we only have 45 seconds until that Baron is going to be respawned again, and Misfits really desperately need to fight back from it, as all of team members are already here. That comes a crystal arrow. That Alistair just popping himself into it as the fight rages right now. Certus is being annihilated from that game. Casca doing an immense amount of damage. Certus is almost dead as Huston is getting himself out of that fight, and it seems like even though Aggressivo is a one-man army, he's not going to do anything about it. Warlock not able to pick up a Memento as Team VITB are just destroying Misfits here.
Destroying, exactly, that's a good...
That's a killer instinct. Woolite is going to try to pick him up, but not able to do that. That is just straight BM from Memento, as that is a teleport coming from... Was it a teleport from Duplex? No, it was a teleport from Raven. I'm very sorry right now, as it's... Whoa, that is a cleanse, but not going to be enough, as the belly going to take Kaiser down, and that is a second loss for Team Misfits and a win in potential playoffs for Team Vitality B.
That was harsh. That was
Very harsh.
I don't even know what to say. I feel sorry for Misfits Premier right now.
We have seen Misfits Premier losing their game against BDS, if I am correct, in the previous game, and
that was Game Ward.
I'm sorry, Game Ward. I'm sorry, Game Ward. And that wasn't really a methodical loss. That was more of a battle of the titans, who is going to be better than the other. Yeah. And right now, it was a methodic stampedement from Vitality B, and they have pulled it off beautifully. Even though Misfits were able to answer with such a good calls from now and then, that was hopeless.
Now and then is just not enough. You need to be consistent in your whole gameplay. That's what we saw this time from Vitality B. That's what we absolutely lacked from Team Misfits Premier, unfortunately. In the previous games, they had much more understanding of what's happening on the map with the opponents. This time, I haven't seen either of that.
That is completely true, and I just have to point out how well Team Vitality B were playing in this game, because that Alistair was always on the right spot. That we haven't seen Jack Troll to play Alistair so cleanly than Hustlin does in this game, and Olaf and Gragas, both of them were right on the spot. And that, I mean, Team Vitality B have played it so cleanly and so well against Misfits.
Yeah, and there was so much control in Team Vitality B, like really all the control. You could see sometimes Team Misfits Premier not being able to do anything at all, even though they have 2 cleanses in their team. They would be just standing there.
That wasn't enough.
Being kicked, popped somewhere, not being able to do anything at all, to do some damage or to escape, because control. And even if you pick Leona, which is a very good crowd, control is just not enough for you because you don't have anything else
to follow it up with.
Yes,
because
there is a
honestly speaking, I don't really think that picking Gale Force was exactly the best option here, because Kraken Slayer would have provided Kai'Sa at least an opportunity to take down those tanky, chunky front laners. But we will see what will happen in the next game, as we still have a few games in front of ourselves. Congratulations to Team Vitality B, as they have an opportunity right now to make it to playoffs, and I'm really hoping that they do, because that was a very deserved win from them.
Yeah. And actually, that changes the whole table of participants of LFL 2021, because right now Misfits Premier are no longer the only winners of everything. They're no longer the only ones standing on the top of the hill. Right now, they're in the same position with Coming Corp. 5-2.
They share the first place, if I'm not mistaken. 5-2.
Yes, exactly. They share the first place now. So Misfits Premier need to try really hard to get back to the dominance that they had in the beginning of LFL. Will they be able to? I kind of hope so, to be honest. They're a good team.
We will see. That's all we can say. We will see, because we will be looking forward to the end of this series and going into the playoffs. I'm really looking forward to see what LFL are going to surprise us with more. My name was,
or is
and will be Brillman. Her name was, will be, and is. Wrong direction, wrong organ, doesn't matter. Solari, and I thank you for being us with here at that game, and we will see you next game.
We will see you next time. Have a safe evening, everybody.